the bearded one here. Hope you guys are great. I want to talk about bullying, right? Now, bullying is something that seems to be universal. Kids in Japan are bullied, kids in India, kids in France, kids in Slovakia, kids in Russia, kids in South Africa, kids in England, kids in Zambia, kids in DRC, kids in Hawaii, kids in Canada, kids in the US. Kids are bullied everywhere. Now, the thing about bullying is it doesn't seem to be something that only happens in terms of the animal kingdom, right? Or sorry, rather in terms of human species, but also the entire animal kingdom. So for instance, you will find that little bear cubs or little hyenas and jackals, when they're coming up, they will fight with each other. They will play fight. They will push each other. They will bite. They will test each other's strength, and they will go about growing and becoming better hunters that way. They establish a pecking order, especially if they're pack animals, using that kind of methodology, basically by testing each other and fighting with each other. The strongest one naturally rises to the top. The strongest one naturally becomes the leader. And then the others establish themselves in a pecking order based on what the testing of strength reveals about who's strong and who's not, and who's weak and who's that, who's this, right? It is exactly the same thing that kids are doing when they're bullying each other. When kids are bullying each other, they're trying to figure out a pecking order. Who is going to be in charge, on top, and who is going to be at the bottom. Regardless whether it's girls involved or boys, girls will bully each other, right? Little boys will bully each other. The way that kids or individuals should deal with bullying is realize that what's actually happening is that this new group that I've entered in is asking itself a question. The question is, what value does this new individual bring to this group, right? What level of attention should I pay to this individual? So how do I figure that information out? In the prison setting, an individual enters a prison environment. What happens? They're going to test you, either to make you bow down to the existing system of who's in charge, who's at the top of the pecking order, or you, via your ability to put hurt on people with your hands and your techniques, become the alpha dog. Because you come in there, somebody tries you in the yard, you break him down to lowest common multiples, right? You smash this dude. You make sure that everybody that wants to come against you knows you got that strength, you handle your business, and you quick with the hands, and you ain't scared of nobody. That already tells everybody in the yard what your value is. He's a fighter. He's a leader. Oh, we need one of those on our team. So we're going to bring him into our section. We're going to give him access to our collective protection and collective resources. In return, he's going to bring us his individual strength, individual prowess and power, and apply that. That's how it works. Weak ones, when they come in there and they get their butt whooped in the prison yard, the individual that beats them down is also putting down a hierarchy that I'm superior to you, so you should do what I say. I lead, right? That's the same thing. So when you are in the prison yard and this dude beats you down, you are automatically his what? Exactly. So that kind of pecking order establishment, who should be valued, whose rules should be followed, etc., 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 are based on how people respond when you test their strength. So when a kid goes to school and he gets bullied and he gives in and he cries and all that, he's already been established as weak and lower in the value in the totem pole. You can go and do all the detention you want. That kid will never have that social positioning that you want him to have. This is also why jocks in high school or in primary school, whatever, especially in the more competitive countries like South Africa, the US, Canada, Australia, the UK, where the schools have biggest sports environments to play in, kids that do well in sport and are really dominating sports are higher in the pecking order, right? Kids who don't are lower in the pecking order. That's the way it works. So what you've got to do is teach your child that, listen, if you go to school and somebody steps up and tries to test you and to see if you can handle and defend your own position and defend your interests. What you should do is whoop his butt, smack him up, throw a couple of punches, wrestle him to the ground, and make it known. I am no pushover. Don't challenge me. Don't take me on. If you want to cooperate with me, you want to work with me, or you want to do something with me, you got to step up respect, and you got to step up to me and talk to me like a human being. And then we all going to be good. If there's a pecking order in this situation, I am not the one at the bottom of it or the middle of it. I am to the top of it. If I am not the apex predator and that I can beat everybody here down, at least I can beat enough people down to know that it's better to have me as an ally versus an enemy. If you want to look for somebody to make fun of, somebody to beat down, go find somebody weaker. That's the way it works, right? That's what kids are facing. That's what bullying is all about. It's testing the strength. It's the pack trying to establish what value will this individual serve in our setup, in our get-up. That's why they test each other. The only way for them to test is by physically stepping up to you and trying to push you into a lower position. This is not only available in the school system though. This is also the same thing in workplaces, on sport teams, all that kind of stuff. People will try to push you down in the pecking order by psychological bullying or physical fights. Even Michael Jordan had to face detractors from coaches of other teams, from players like Karl Malone and others who were like, you know what? I'm better than you. I'm better than you. And Jordan went out to make sure that they knew he was at the top of the pecking order by beating them game after game, using a clutch shot, showing them who was boss. Why? He needed to be known. He needed it to be known. And he needed his dudes to understand. Don't come against me. Don't test me. Don't put my name in your mouth. You know what it is, and you know what's going to happen if you come against me. And that is really the reality of what bullying should reveal to you. Bullying is the society and the world around you trying to make you say, either you bring your strength and you show us that you got that strength, or we're going to put you at the lowest rank of society. Never accept the lowest rank of society. Never accept the lowest rank in the sports team. Never accept your child to be bullied. Learn to fight. Go to the gym. Work out. Learn to speak up for yourself, because if you're not assertive, whether it's on the school playground or it's in the corporate environment, there are bullies there who are very good at being aggressive and attacking other people. The only time those people back down is when they realize that the person that they're going up against ain't scared, is willing to fight to the death to establish their own position, has got value. They will respect you because you got the power. You've got the power to destroy their interests. You got the power to bring them down. That's why they respect you. Nobody just respects people. Yes, in the absolute sense of the word, we should all be caring about the value of every human life, etc. Unfortunately, that's not what happens in the real world. The reason certain people are not touched is because people fear them. They know that if I go and mess with that dude, you know it's going to go down. They know that if I look at that dude's girlfriend, I will get a fist in my eye. There are dudes that know that. And that's why they don't mess with that guy's girlfriend. That's why they don't go near they don't disrespect him when he's in public. None of that, because they know he can put it down. He ain't playing them games. But if there's a guy who they know is nonviolent, is respectful, and tries to achieve peace by always negotiating and whatnot, your girl will always get hit on. Because you know why? They ain't afraid of you. If they sleep with your girl, what you gonna do? Right? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Cry about it? That's what they thinking. I can mess with his interests because he ain't gonna do nothing about it. And that's why you can't be too soft. That's why you've got to be assertive. And that's why you got to understand that bullying is natural. And the way to deal with it is to fight back. It isn't to collapse in or go to the teacher and cry about it. Nah. It's to stand up for yourself and beat somebody down and throw some fists back. And then they will respect you. They won't go near your interests out of respect and fear of what you're capable of doing if they dare go after your interests. People must always know that. This is my family. It's my wife. You see her in public and you foolish enough to step up to her and try to be, Mister, I'm going to be smooth and try to smash another man's wife. I'm going to make you see what time it is. You're disrespecting my territory. We see this in the animal kingdom. When we see situations where, for instance, A tiger has got a territory. The tiger is all cool. It's all cool until you step in its territory. When some other tiger steps up in their territory, it's like, what time do you think this is? You think you can just be walking around my side of the hood? It's all a territory game. It doesn't mean become violent, doesn't mean be a violent guy, be a brute, or beat up every dude that speaks to your girlfriend or whatnot. But you've got to understand it, guys. If you're not assertive, if you don't fight against the bullies, if you don't deal with them by showing strength, you will always be the one who gets disrespected. You'll always be the one who people don't respect in public because they think they can do whatever they want to do to you and there is no consequence. This is not only true for external parties, it's also true for your own woman, your own wife, your own girlfriend. If a woman is testing you, what she's trying to see is if you're truly as confident as you say you are, is really as masculine as you say you are, really have an abundant mindset like you say you do, really on your purpose, really a provider, really a protector, really a challenge, and if you really got value. So if she stops acting crazy and you don't put her in her space by talking to her and telling her it's either she act right or she's got to go, or you simply break up with her and walk away, she starts to think you false, you're not real, you're not really the man that I think you are. She's testing you. She's no different from that yard bully or that prison yard, what can I call it? Prison yard tester, prison yard detainee, prison yard inmate who steps up to you and says, you know what? I'm going to see if this dude is really strong or if he's going to be my little, and then you punk him up. You punch him up. You let him know what time it is. And then he knows, oh, damn, you the boss and I'm your bitch. Okay, I got it now. I understand. I ain't gonna mess with you no more. I respect it. All right, sir. The same way, some women will test your authority in the relationship. She's gonna act a certain way just to see how you respond. She wants to see if you're gonna let her slide with the disrespect that she's giving you, or she wants to see if you are confident enough to walk away from her knowing full well you've got other options or can get other options. She's gonna test you on purpose. That's what all these tests are about. All that pushing is to see how much pressure you can push back with. With women, of course, you either tell them to stay in their place or they don't get access to you or you walk away. And with other people in the world, you verbalize yourself, you defend your position, you stand up for yourself, or in cases where you've got no other alternative, you got to use them fists. You got to bring it out. You got to let them know what time it is. It's not the way things should work. But that's how things do work. People will test you everywhere, corporate environment, in relationships, and you've got to stand up for yourself because a person that stands up for themselves is a person who believes that they have a right to have a seat at the table. They have a right to lead that relationship. They have a right to have a voice, to have an opinion, that their presence must be valued in the collective. Because if you're an individual who just cowers and sulks, guess what's going to happen, guys? You're always going to be the one that doesn't get what you're supposed to get. You're always the one who's going to have your seat taken away and given to somebody who's willing to fight for it. So be willing, be able, whether it's trying to get a spot on the NBA team, trying to be part of a cricket team out in South Africa, trying to be part of a rugby team out in Namibia, whatever. You got to fight you got to fight. You got to fight for it. You got to make people understand, I've earned this spot, I deserve this spot, and if you want to take my spot, you got to be ready to fight. You got to be ready to go to the last ounce of energy you got. It's a brawl to the death. Maybe not literally, but career-wise, but otherwise. Nobody got to die physically, nobody got to get shot, nobody got to do nothing. But if you're going to challenge my position, know there is a consequence. And the minute you've got that happening, the minute you create that response, women will respect you because they know that this guy, if I'm disrespectful, he's going to never pick up my call again. If I'm disrespectful and act like a clown, he's done with me. He's going to go on to the next woman and ain't going to even look back and waste his time with me. He's done. He ain't playing that. You don't respect him. You don't value him. He ain't got time for you. And guys are going to know that this dude, if you want to take his spot, it's going to be war. It's going to be warfare. So if I'm gonna go near that, I gotta know that I gotta be ready to fight, and I gotta be better than him, because if he's stronger than me, he's gonna crush me, and he's gonna put me in my position, and he's gonna make sure I never test him again. Do you understand? That is the nature of the world. That bullying you see on the schoolyard, that's all it is, pecking order establishment. And you don't want your kid to be the one that's crying and sulking in the corner. You want your kid to be the one that says, listen, if you test me, I'm going to push back. He's the kid that punches back. He's the kid that takes them down and wrestles them down. He's the kid that's willing to fight every day of the week until it's understood. I ain't your mark. I ain't the one to mess with. And when people know that, they're going to leave your child alone. Your child's going to go to school, mind his business, get his education on, have a nice time there with nobody messing with him, because you know what? They're afraid of him. They respect him. They know what he's working with. And that's going to result in the solution to the problem of kids coming home and going, oh, they bullied me, they said this, they said that. If you teach your child to have a smart mouth, to be able to hit them back with superior punchlines, and when they speak to your kid throws them out like Muhammad Ali, and they get left thinking, damn, this kid's got a smart mouth. They ain't going to mess with your kid anymore, because they know that, damn, if I make a joke about this kid, or if I talk about how his father used to be a porn star, or how his dad ain't make as much money as mine, and he's driving a Ford Fiesta while mine is driving a Range Rover, this kid's got such a smart mouth on him. He's going to demolish me and my daddy's Range Rover in full view of the whole school. And then if I get upset and decide I'm going to go take it physical, he works out, he goes to the gym, and he's got a mean set of hands, and he's going to work me over and teach me to keep my mouth shut and get back in my daddy's Range Rover and keep my eyes looking that way and keep my name out of his mouth. He's going to teach me that lesson. Once you have a kid that's like that, once you raise yourself like that, once you start seeing the world like that, that you know what? I'm not a man who likes to take what doesn't belong to me, but if you try to take what belongs to me or territory that I have decided to colonize, you got to be ready to fight to the death on that one, because I'm playing with you. I ain't your mark. It's not how it works. And that's why you need to be assertive, guys, because you know what? You're going to keep getting your butt kicked. You're going to keep getting bullied by that dude by the water tower, at the coffee shop, by that woman that you keep on getting into relationships with. You're going to keep getting bullied by them because you didn't stand up for yourself. And the last thing you want to do is end up in a marriage or a relationship, or keep on getting in relationships where you get treated less than you should be. Simply because when she starts mouthing off, when she starts acting crazy, you don't put your foot down and say, this is the law of the land, respect it, or you have to be voted off the island, and somebody who's a better candidate has to be brought on board. You've got to start thinking like that. Otherwise, you're always going to be in trouble. Until next time, guys, do more, be more, become more on your purpose.